Hello and welcome to another chat. This one isn't going to be about submarines. It's going to be about something slightly different. Earlier today, Putin's superyacht ran aground in Ukraine. Actually, it didn't, spoiler alert, that was fake data. This is going to be about the faking of that data, the implications and so on. Who did it? Like my other chats, it's unscripted. That's really obvious already. Also, I've got a bad microphone. Not really apologizing for that, just so you know. It's just a guy talking about defense topics. I do open source intelligence defense analysis, usually about submarines, but also other defense topics, maritime. So first of all, this happened at somewhere called Snake Island. This has been in the news recently. It is part of Ukraine and it was attacked by Russia. Obviously, Ukraine is currently being invaded by Russia. If you aren't aware of that, stop watching, go watch the news. You know, everyone knows that, right? So this island is very small and you might think inconsequential, but actually it's a little bit strategic. It had a small garrison, maybe 14 guys, I heard, but very small of border guards. Because it's positioned far out from the mainland in the Black Sea, it can be quite strategic from a surveillance perspective and likely was providing intelligence and situational awareness to the Ukrainian military. Russia felt the need to neutralize it, sent along a cruiser. And on the 25th of February, Russia seized the island, killing, I heard it, they killed everyone. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. There are also reports of prisoners of war, we'll see. But just for your curiosity, the warship you see there is a Slava-class cruiser. That was a pretty impressive warship that was designed to sink aircraft carriers, provide area air defense. It wasn't designed for attacking small islands, but that's the twist of fate, I guess. Today, the cruiser is still there. That's Moscow center, center of the screen. The island, not much happening there. It looks like Russia has taken it over, essentially. Then the superyacht attacked, or rather it ran aground, and apologies for a terrible graphic. This morning, AIS, which is Automated Identification Systems, started reporting that Graceful, a superyacht, had hit the island and run aground. AIS I'll explain in a little bit, but basically it's a way that ships tell other ships where they are. This data was of course fake, and we can be certain that it's fake because the satellite happened to pass about the same time and we can see the ship's not there. If the ship was there, it would be approximately the size of that yellow hull sort of shape that I've put there on the screen. Just approximate, but you get the idea. Anyway, there's lots of reasons to know that the ship wasn't there, but this is pretty good proof. The superyacht itself, really beautiful, like all super yachts, very luxurious, wouldn't mind it myself. It's not actually a mega yacht. It's not the most impressive category. It's a bit smaller than the yachts of some other Russian oligarchs. This is a photo of it previously when it was passing through the Bosphorus into the Black Sea, but it's just a file photo. It was built in 2013, or sort of entered service, as it were, if that's the right term, in 2014. It was built in Russia, in the Arctic. It is flagged, however, British Virgin Islands. I also see it reported as Russian flagged. It's not really clear what the current flag is to me. It doesn't really matter either. British Virgin Islands is a pretty typical flag of convenience for super yachts. The actual ownership, I'm sure, is pretty vague. The gross tonnage, 2,500 tons. The overall length, and it's interesting, length is the main measurement given for super yachts. I don't know why, it doesn't really make sense, but there it is, 80 meters. So it's smaller than the 100 meters, which would sort of put it into the space of a mega yacht. The only thing interesting about it really is that it is allegedly owned by Putin. Let's say the ownership is bound to be ambiguous if you start following the paperwork, but everyone believes it's Putin's Superyacht. It's one of only 28 super yachts that are, or mega yachts that are being tracked around the world. It's by no means the biggest, most impressive. As soon as the conflict started turning hot, or even just before then, lots of Russian oligarchs started moving their yachts into places where they're less likely to be seized due to sanctions. Putin's is top right, there it is. And it's in Kaliningrad, which is a Russian enclave. It actually sailed there from Hamburg. So it run away from Hamburg to Kaliningrad to stop it being seized, most likely. Kaliningrad's on the Baltic, 800 miles away from Snake Island. As the crow flies, obviously ships do not travel like that. There's no way it got to Snake Island. We would have known about it. Of course, it didn't happen. AIS. So what was being faked is the position it tells other ships is at. This is basically a safety system, and all ships except warships are meant to broadcast. And there's certain rules about tonnages and how much it weighs and stuff like that. But essentially, it helps other ships know who you are, where you are. It shouldn't replace things like radar and eyes as a main means of not hitting another ship, but there's no doubt that it improves situational awareness, and there have been instances such as this frigate that was sunk, where a ship not being on AIS was a contributory factor. Naval vessels don't have to be on AIS, but other vessels such as super yachts do. It's particularly relevant where there's a war going on. Obviously, off Ukraine, there's been several ships attacked. These should have been broadcast on AIS. There's no real excuse to misidentify them. If you are a ship off Ukraine, you want to be telling everyone who you are and what your flag is and so on. I don't suggest AIS was a direct contributor to any of these attacks, but you can easily see a scenario where false or a history of misleading AIS would contribute to a misidentification or other mistake. It has been faked before as well on military vessels. Last year, there was quite a well-known example also in Ukraine, a British and Dutch warship called Odessa, and their tracks were falsified to make it appear that they sailed to Sevastopol in Crimea, which is a Russian naval base. They didn't, it was false, and you can see the webcams on the right which prove it was false, although even without those, we know it's false. So who done it in this case? Who made Putin's yacht appear on a Ukrainian island, quite a well-known Ukrainian island as of now? I think there's a pretty obvious hint here. The destination was set to anonymous. So you're already ahead of me. Additionally, the estimated time of arrival was set to April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And the call sign was changed from whatever it was before. And I have seen the normal call sign. I don't recall it. It's not memorable. It's just a set of letters. It was changed to FCK PTN. You can guess what that stands for. So it's pretty obvious who's doing it. And this is probably part of a larger effort to attack Russian government sources. So whoever did it is either part of Anonymous or identifying with Anonymous. Quite why, I'm not so sure. From the perspective of AIS, because it is a safety system, the sites such as Marine Traffic, which is one AIS aggregator, Vessel Tracker, and so on, they are not showing it as being on the island anymore. I think what's happened is they've cleaned the system and they're trying to work around it. Curiously, though, you still see some debris from the attack. Anonymous is still shown as the destination in Marine Traffic as of right now. So that was a quick chat, just a general thing on a very easily demonstrated case of falsified AIS, also playing out in a war zone. Obviously, I don't think Putin's yacht turning up on AIS has actually had any implications on the ongoing war. but we can see how these systems could be manipulated, and it could have much far bigger impact. Okay, thank you for listening. Say this was unscripted, very obvious, I know. Also, it's not monetized, so please give it a like, please share it, let people know if you find it interesting. Thank you again.